Hello, welcome to the channel, Sons of the Weir. Today again I want to speak about this Welsh village that's took a siege mentality of what I call a dictatorship of a government. This is not a democratic country, you haven't got free speech. You're governed to what you say, and if you come out with stuff people don't like, the left-wing woke and the left-wing Nazis, they hound you out. Well, I'm not bothered about them. Anyway, let's get back to this Welsh village. 7 weeks ago, in this picturesque Welsh village called Llanelli or Llanelli, I apologise if I've pronounced the name wrong, population of under 400. The main source of employment was a luxury hotel that covers events and weddings from areas from miles around. People come to flock to this hotel. They employed 95 local people. Then all of a sudden, this dictatorship of a government decided that they were putting an agency in to put in these illegal immigrants, these men of military age. And I'll reiterate yet again, I'm not speaking about women and children and genuine refugees. We're speaking about these young men of fighting age who were murdered, raped, and in gangs, being proven since I've come across. So what's happened is this government's decided to change the culture, to try and decide to change the culture and the future history of this picturesque Welsh valley. Well, these people of this Welsh village are not lying down for this dictatorship, and they're leading by example, and every other city, town and village in this country should follow suit. They're refusing to be dictated to, and they're putting up a fight. The access into this hotel, the access road, there's only one way in, it's owned by a local. He's withdrawn access for anybody to go in and out of the hotel, and good on him. They put tents up, the locals, and they've put concrete blocks across the drive, across the road, to stop anybody getting in and out. There's somebody manning the outsides of this hotel 24/7. To me, it shows me that the old bulldog spirit has not gone, and there's people in Britain who still care and will stand up for what they believe in. These people should be saluted, and me for one, every single one of them should be given medals. I still say this dictatorship of a government will compulsory purchase the road in. They've got no concerns for locals, they've got no concerns for British people basically. They want to change the culture of this picturesque Welsh village and its future history by bringing these parasites in. That's my opinion, I'm entitled of it. And I say everyone in this country, every British person should be standing behind the people of Llanelli. That's the way I see it. And long may it continue, and I hope they do get the result that they want. Second thing I want to speak about is another case of blatant racial bias in favour of minority people in this country. Again, as usual, this one is in favour of a Muslim woman in the Oldham area. She's out during the day at a bowling alley full of kids, and she is off her nut on the drink. Verbally abusive, shouting and threatening in front of kids. 20-year-old woman, the manageress of this bowling alley, when approached her, I said to calm down. The manageress of the bowling alley was a black lady, and this 20-year-old Muslim woman who was off her nut on the drink, being abusive and aggressive, called her the N-word and says the N-word and fuck off, motherfucker. Pardon the language, but this is what's come out of this 20-year-old woman's mouth, off her nut on the drink. The police were called, and the police were called by this woman, by this racist, white fuckers. Abusing the police, calling them white fuckers, a racist attack on British police. The emergency services was called to try and calm her down. Sedate her. They were threatened and also physically attacked. So what happens? This racist Muslim woman is took to court, and when took to court, they want to put a tag on her. So what do you think happens? Since the fight and since the incident, all of a sudden, she's refound her faith. You be here. Absolute shit chat, pure shit tripe coming out your mouth and out your solicitors' mouths. That's my opinion. They ask for the tag not to be put on her because it will interfere with our prayers on a Friday, saying she has refound her faith since this incident. Personally, I find it hard to believe. That's my opinion. So what happened is this woman is bound over, fined £250. If this had been a British lady, white, abusing the manageress of the bowling alley with them words, abusing the police and assaulting emergency workers, they'd be doing 3 to 5 years. It's that simple. It's another example of pro-racial bias in this country by this dictatorship of a government and the low down the establishment. It's an absolutely shocking. But you're just supposed to keep your mouth shut and say nothing. Well, I'll open my mouth and I'll have my say. And for me, that woman should be doing 3 to 5 years. I couldn't care less about her religion or refining her faith. She's guilty of the crime and she should be doing the time, because if it had been a white, well, if it had been somebody British and white, they'd have getting remanded. That's how I see it. Now, I want to finish on the EU, the corrupt EU, which corrupt from top to bottom. This von der Leyen, whatever she's called, who's in charge of the European Union. She's actually been across to Tunisia, who were not in the European Union. Tunisia, there was a terror attack in 2015. 30 people were murdered. 30 of them were our British brothers and sisters. So what does this bitch from the European Union do? She goes to Tunisia and gives them £1 billion to invest in the country to stop the Tunisian people coming across in the boats into Europe. The European Union wanted open borders, no checks, no nothing. Every country in Europe is now suffering the effects of these young men being in the countries. There's murders, there's gangs, there's drug running, and worst of all, there's premeditated race-hate rapes on nationals of whatever country they're in. These are the facts. They need to be looked at, and I'm including our country in that, even though we're not in Europe. And this dictatorship of a government have put it under the carpet for too long, and they just ignore it, and you're not supposed to talk about it. They've even got what they think is an acceptable name for it, grooming. It's not grooming, it's premeditated race hate rape attacks. That's what it is. And the people of Europe are now sick of it. I can't say what £1 billion is going to affect in Tunisia, because if it's like any other country in Europe or in the world, a minority of that money will reach the people who matter, just like everywhere else. That's my opinion, and like I say, I put these videos out to give my opinion, and like I say, if one person watches it and likes it, all well and good. If one person watches it and doesn't like it, I'm not really bothered. I'm giving my opinion. If you've liked it, all well and good. If you haven't, couldn't care less. See you later, people.